Hello. I don't want to put the cat off from being in vision, so to speak. So I'm speaking softly. Welcome to Sandy Ainley. I hope each one of you are well. I'm quite relaxed this morning. I've done most of my chores. In fact, all my essential chores, to be more precise. And now I'm just relaxing on the bed with little Oreo in my company. Sorry I'm not showing my face presently. I'm sure, I hope to be sure that you like the appearance of my cat's head. And it's very rare for the cat to stay on the screen. And that's sorry, I think cats move position, so in fact I know the cat's moves position, so I just need to try to, there we are, there's Pussycat again, and Sandy's hand. Well, I do have something to say today, to say the least. There's been an incident between a gentleman friend and myself, whereby this gentleman cancelled my invitation for this gentleman to come to a party with me. And at the last moment, so to speak, I was cancelled. And it really meant a lot to me to go to the party with this chap. And I felt let down. So this next time, the gentleman needed me to go for some reason with this gentleman to a party. Initially I said yes, and then I thought on the subject, and I thought, why am I allowing myself to be handled as if I'm a piece of rubbish? And I'm a fool enough to accept to go out to a party with this chap. There's more that meets the eye. There's more. There's other issue or issues concerning this gentleman. And so what I did was I just said the truth, which is that I wasn't feeling well, that I'm not going to go to the party, and that I was very sorry, and that was the final answer. And the gentleman seemed to take it very politely, very gracefully, said to me, fine. But it may seem a bit bizarre that I'm talking away and that you can't see me, so hidey hi. So concerning the story of this gentleman, I felt much better after having stood up to the chap and politely backed away. I haven't been feeling well, so I was being absolutely honest. So I'm really proud of myself. Yesterday also, I asserted certain information to my mother and brother. And this morning I feel good on the subject of that. However, I do often feel, not just with my mum and brother, but generally in life, feel like I'm speaking a monologue. And I've noticed that in life people don't listen. Not everybody, of course. However, and I've noticed that, and it's good that I realise and I'm aware of this. And it's really helping me because I realise that some people listen, and those are the people I need to engage with. When it comes to my mother and brother, they do listen occasionally, however, not always, and I'm pleased that I kind of came to that understanding, because it's going to help me to be more conscious of my actions, so to speak. They're lovely, my mum and brother. I adore them. I don't mind having said. Concerning new possession after possession with me, I'm just going to show you in a moment when I finish cuddling the cat, because the cat seems to be very relaxed with me right now. I shall show you a certain item that I have bought with my friend's invitation of money online for myself, and I'm thinking today or now, just to make my is that all you want, Oreo? You want more of a cuddle? How do you feel, darling? Right, I think it's cuddle time. No, it's not cuddle time. Oreo seems quite happy just to be on the bed with me. Okay, I'm going to show you. I'm going to go and get the items that I so wish to show you. Okay. They're brand new. Okay. Number one is my beautiful pig. What do you think of him or her, as she may, or he may be? Lovely. What a lovely toy. I wish to say it's good for my legs, because I suffer with restless leg syndrome, and this will comfort me at my leg. I can place one leg underneath it, one leg over the top of it. Sorry, him or her. And it will be very soothing for my legs. That's the first gift I bought myself, my friend's money, and now this one, which is a very simple cushion, and I think the theme is little twin stars. Right, that's nice and pretty. And then I'll show you this one also. Again, a lovely cushion, as you might know. And I think this is possibly little twin stars, but I'm not sure. Maybe not, I'm not sure. So I think the cats realise that I'm doing something with my iPad and has left the room, which is fine. I believe in freedom. And I hope I shall be consistent at that. But I'm really pleased with my little new items. I'm not sure if I've shown you this. This is not new, but it's not old either. It's a seat cover, and I think it's really, really, really cool. There we are. It's in the shape of a paw. Just making sure I'm showing it to you well enough. Okay, so I'm going to show you a little bit of what I did last evening before going to sleep. First of all, there's this little little attempt at making the doorknobs, or the, not knobs, the door knob stroke handles, whatever one names them as. It may not be a very good idea. However, I tried. Then I have a nice new mat, which I'd like to show you, please. It's this one here. I think that's super duper. So that I'm going to keep my cat carrier on, and then I think it'll look quite pleasant. It's got one mat there so that the intercom, if it comes down, doesn't break. Hopefully that's the answer to that. And then I've placed the other one just opposite. And the cat's been scratching something. What is it, darling? Oh, you want to go in the bathroom? Oreo's very sweet because he scratches a door. I open the door and he walks away from that door. Very cute. I don't understand the psychology behind that. However, maybe you do. Could you kindly comment below and let me know what that means? See, Oreo's just walked away, so I'm going to close the door again. I don't mind having said. So, I don't know if I've shown you this, and I'll show you now if I may. It's what I describe as a Sandy Ainley version of a door curtain. It's mauvey in colour, if you couldn't see from the picture. And, I require myself and wish myself to excuse me, sorry, thank you, to read a little bit from the book Stop Thinking, Start Living again. I just need to move this slightly so, because otherwise the shining sun is too nearby. So I read up to, I'm just trying to remember, I read the introduction to yourselves, and I can go on to number 1, positive possibilities. I think that's all accurate. Bear with me, please. I'll just look at the contents. Possibilities, yes, it'll be after the introduction, page 7. Okay, 1, possibilities. Jim and Yvonne had been married for 32 mostly unhappy years when they discovered that Jim had a cancerous, life-threatening tumour. Prior to discovering this information, the couple had lived together in an almost constant state of irritation. There was frequent conflict and anger, ongoing disputes and disagreement on virtually every issue surrounding their lives together. Their love for each other had been, in Jim's words, lost many years ago. A curious thing happened the moment they found out about the tumour. Both Jim and Yvonne experienced a sudden shift in their consciousness. The anger that had suffocated their love for so many years disappeared. Their disagreements faded away and now seemed insignificant, and their love for one another resurfaced, almost magically, as though it had never left to begin with. What happened? The couple experienced what is commonly referred to as a change of heart. No one exactly knows how or when this kind of sudden shift or change will occur, but we do know that they exist and that they are possible. Oreo? Excuse me, sorry. A sudden shift in consciousness can occur in any area of human life that has to do with how we feel, whether it be relationships, feeling anxious, feeling down, or any other immobilizing emotion. Consider an 8-year-old child who goes to bed every night frightened by the thought of an imagined monster behind the wardrobe door. Suddenly, one day, out of nowhere, she realizes that the monster isn't real, that it exists only in her own mind. Interesting questions include, why did the child have this realization on this particular day? What was it that made her realize the monster wasn't real? The answers to these questions are surprisingly vague. We don't know for sure, except to say that a new level of understanding surfaced within the consciousness of the child. Another example of a sudden shift is the person who swears that he is going to stop smoking. Week after week, year after year, he promises he's going to do it. I've lost my place. Oh, here it is. Thank you. Sorry. You, as a friend, have heard the same story many times. Then one day, for no apparent reason, your friend tells you the very same thing, only this time you know that he means it. Something is different. Something has changed. You can't quite put your finger on it, but you know he will never smoke again. And indeed, he never does. While the particulars of each sudden shift are unique, there are common denominators that seem to exist in all cases. First, the shift itself doesn't necessarily build on what we already know, but instead is seen suddenly, as if out of nowhere. In other words, the amount of information we have on the subject isn't the critical factor. For example, I was working with a client, George, who had spent his entire life feeling prejudice about people of a specific race. He had a sudden shift in his perspective and realized, in his words, what a fool I had been. What made this particular example so intriguing to me was that the two of us had never spoken about his prejudice. I never ever knew he had this problem. His realization came about as he was discussing how his own thinking sometimes got in the way of his relationship with his wife. The shift that occurred in his consciousness was achieved without obtaining additional information about the problem. He had intellectually known for years that all prejudice stems from ignorance, yet he still felt prejudice until that moment. Something shifted within him while he was thinking about something else. I had a sudden shift of my own that is equally difficult to explain. I had spent my entire life frightened to death of public speaking. The very thought of speaking to a group made me sweat. And in 2 instances, I actually fainted. Then one day, while eating lunch with some friends at a conference I was attending, I realized there was nothing to fear. I can't explain exactly why or how I had this insight, only that it happened. To this day, I am very comfortable speaking to groups of any size and do so quite frequently. Second, sudden shifts are accompanied by a feeling of inspiration, sometimes described as a light feeling, or a nice feeling. Yvonne and Jim each described their sudden shift as a feeling of incredible relief, as though a huge emotional burden had been lifted. Many clients have reported to me similar feelings of being uplifted in some powerful way as they experienced an insight that changed the way they looked at life. This feeling is often described as a sense of self-confidence. Later, I will discuss this in a context of your healthy psychological functioning. Finally, sudden shifts are permanent in nature. When a shift occurs, there doesn't seem to be any turning back, at least not all the way. For example, it's hard for me to imagine being frightened by the act of speaking to a group. I can, however, have empathy for those who do, because I remember what it feels like. The idea of Yvonne and Jim hating each other, as they did for long, seems ridiculous, and my client George chuckles at the thought of disliking someone because of the colour of his skin. This is the nature of insight. It happens, and from that moment forward, life looks different. An interesting and important point about sudden shifts is this. There is no relationship between the feeling better aspect of sudden shifts and the external appearance of life getting better. So, for example, a person who experiences a sudden shift in the way she feels about her finances didn't do so because she had just inherited a large estate or won the football pools. She experienced the shift because she looked at the set of facts in a new way. Whatever it was that she saw, it affected her enough that money will no longer be a source of inner conflict in her life. Certainly, Yvonne and Jim were no better off. To the contrary, Jim was given a terminal diagnosis, yet both he and Yvonne felt more love for each other than ever before. Likewise, the child who had the realization about the imagined monster in her wardrobe wasn't any better off. The monster was never there to begin with. This is the nature of sudden shifts. They occur through a shift in understanding, not through a change in circumstance. This is a book about possibilities. Be open to the possibility that this book will help you have your own sudden shift. If you do, your experience of life will change before your eyes. You will feel better, more joyful, more relaxed, and more secure. Absolutely nothing needs to change in your life in order for you to feel better. You simply need to see something about the nature of your own thinking that you didn't see before. Your sudden shift can happen instantly, and it can be profound. Okay, so thank you for listening to my reading. Just to inform you, if you haven't seen the first part that I read out about a week ago, the book is called Stop Thinking, Start Living, and the author is Richard Carlson, who is also the author of Don't Sweat the Small Stuff. And the book is Simple Ways to Let Go of Negativity and Discover Lifelong Happiness. I pause as a result of the fact that I feel worn out. I slept very well, yet I feel extremely worn out and very, very, maybe it's just, I mean, I read the book to you today, and I need to use the book for this very moment. If I say to myself, I'm tired, if I have the attitude that I'm tired, then what do you think I'm going to feel? I'm going to feel tired. And I wish to say that since I've thought to myself, I'm not going to be tired today all day and complain and moan, I'm going to be awake, alert and resilient, and I'm going to be happy because I owe it to myself and to my cat. And I have taken these choices myself. I thank you so much. I hope you have a lovely day. Please be positive. It's your choice if you so wish to feel tired, and it's your choice if you so wish to feel unhappy. Please love yourself, and please love one another, and please take care. Shalom. Take care again. Shalom is Hebrew for hello, peace, and goodbye.